over 200 people were killed in their sleep. These people are not asking for political alphabet. They are just killing people in their sleep.
Hello legends, if you are familiar with or even taking a moment to read section 14, sub 2b of the Nigerian Constitution, then you know it boldly provides that the security and the welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of the government. But in light of recent views, one must ask, has the Nigerian government truly lived up to that responsibility? This past week, tragedy struck once again in Benue State and the nation watched in horror. According to a Channels television report, the Yawata community became the latest symbol of government's failure to protect its people. Let's look at the grim highlight of what has been described as a Black Sunday in Yawata. Number 1, massive loss of life. Over 100 lives lost, many of them burnt alive in shops and homes. Entire families were wiped out in hours. Number 2, prolonged attack. Eyewitnesses say gunshots ran out for nearly 5 hours. Damn, 5 hours. 5 hours of terror and non-positive response in real time to curb the havoc wreaked on the community. Number 3, delayed official response. Following public outrage, high-ranking officials, including the President, Inspector General of Police, the Chief of Defense Staff, and Governor Alayi, visited the site. The IGP condemned the killings and made bold declarations to end impunity. The President has also promised to visit. But here is the real question. Is condolence a substitute for protection? Are we as citizens only to be remembered after tragedy when the cameras are rolling? Section 14 isn't ink on paper. It's a solemn pact between the Nigerian state and our people. It means real-time protection, effective governance, and timely action, not repeated condolence visits after the fact. So we ask again, has the government betrayed its constitutional duty? And more importantly, who will be held accountable? Stick with us as we dig deeper into this heartbreaking issue. Ask the tough questions and demand real accountability for Yawata and for every Nigerian who deserves to live in peace with confidence that the government they pledge allegiance to will protect them. Let's dig deep into what the Constitution really says. The Benue Killings raised several critical legal issues under Nigerian law, particularly concerning government's responsibility to protect its citizens. And they are: number 1, violation of the right to life. Section 31, sub 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as amended, equivocally guarantees the right of every person to life. It states that every person has a right to life, and no one shall be deprived intentionally of his right, except in the execution of a court sentence. This provision is foundational and non-derogable, even in times of emergency. Yet, the recent massacre in Yawata, Benue State, where over 100 persons were reportedly killed, some burnt alive, amount to a grave violation of this fundamental right. The Nigerian state is under a dual obligation with respect to this right. Not only must it refrain from the unlawful taking of life, it must also actively protect citizens from foreseeable threats to their lives, including violence from non-state actors. When communities are repeatedly left exposed to coordinated attacks, as seen in Yawata, the government's failure to act amounts to a serious dereliction of constitutional duty. This tragic event also underscores a breach of Section 14, sub 2b of the Constitution, which states that the security and welfare of the people shall be the primary purpose of the government. The Yawata killings represent a complete breakdown in internal security mechanisms. The inability of security forces to either anticipate or swiftly respond to 5 hours of unrelenting gunfire and arson is not only alarming, but also indicative of systemic governance failure. It falls into question whether the state still fulfills its fundamental role as guarantor of safety and public order. 2. Failure to ensure participation in government. Furthermore, Section 14, sub 2c mandates that the participation by the people in the government shall be ensured in accordance with the provision of this Constitution. When communities are subjected to cycle of mass violence and displacement, their social fabric is destroyed. Survivors often lose access to civic platforms, economic stability, and their ability to engage in governance processes. As such, the mass disenfranchisement of affected populations due to insecurity constitutes a subtle but potent erosion of democratic participation and voice. The Benue killings are not just a humanitarian tragedy, they are constitutional crises. The state must not merely issue condemnation or visit after the fact. It must implement proactive and sustainable security strategies, bring predators to justice, and uphold the constitutional guarantees it swore to protect. Until then, the promise of democracy and human rights remains dangerously hollow for too many Nigerian communities. Now, let's talk about the societal impact of this incident. What happened in Benue isn't just another headline. It's a painful reflection of the deeper wounds festering across our nation. When a community like Yewata is ravaged by violence, the effects go far beyond the immediate loss of life. The impact spreads like wildfire, affecting families, economies, and very soul of our society. Now, here are the listed societal impacts of this incident. Number 1, lives lost, families displaced. At the heart of it all is the unbearable tragedy of lives cut short. Entire families wiped out, survivors forced to flee and becoming strangers in their own country. Number 2, shattered communities. Violence tears apart the social fabric. Once thriving communities descended into silence, fear, and isolation. Number 3, economic collapse. When insecurity reigns, farming stops, businesses close, and investors flee. What's left behind? Hunger, poverty, and broken livelihood. Number 4, psychological trauma. For those who live through it, the scars run deep. Children who watch their homes burnt, parents who buried their loved ones, the trauma lingers, unseen but painfully real. Number 5, erosion of trust in government. When citizens cry for help and no one answers, trust begins to rot. People lose faith in their leaders, in law enforcement agencies, and in the very idea of the government. And number 6, security failure. Attacks like this raise one chilling question. Where were the security agencies? How does 5 hours of gunfire happen without a coordinated response? I mean, 5 hours is pretty long. Predators are still not brought to justice. This sends a message which says you can kill and get away with it. That message is literal for any nation trying to uphold law and order. Community no longer trust those sent to protect them. Security forces are often seen as distant, disconnected, or even worse, complicit. This is the reality we must confront, not just for Benue, but for every Nigerian community that feels forgotten, unprotected, and silenced by violence. Until these impacts are addressed, not with platitudes, but with bold reform, peace will remain a distant dream. Addressing Nigeria's insecurity crisis requires a multifaceted approach, which includes 1. Strengthening security forces. To achieve this, the government must 1. Increase training, better equipment, and improve intelligence gathering. 2. Addressing corruption within security agencies. And 3. Improving community relations and building trust. Another way to achieve this is by addressing root causes. And this can be done by 1. Resolving land disputes and resource conflicts through peaceful means. 2. Promoting economic development and creating opportunities for young people. 3. Addressing ethnic and religious tensions through dialogue and reconciliations. Justice and accountability is another way by which this can be achieved, and the steps include ensuring that the perpetrators of these violence are brought to justice. 2. Establishing independent investigations into incidents of mass violence. Number 3. Supporting victims of violence and providing them with redress. Community involvement is another way by which this can be achieved, and the steps include empowering local communities to participate in security initiatives. Number 2. Supporting traditional conflict resolution and mechanisms. Number 3. Promoting dialogue and cooperation between different groups. Good governance is one of the most important ways by which this can be achieved, and the steps include promoting transparency and accountability in government. 2. Addressing corruption and abuse of power. Number 3. Ensuring that government policies are inclusive and benefit all citizens. Upholding constitutional principles can really help, and the steps include adhering to the principles outlined in Section 14 and Section 33 of the 1999 Constitution. 2. Prioritizing the security and welfare of the people. 3. Protecting the right to life. Another way is by implementing strategies to prevent future attacks, and they include development of security forces. 2. Community cooperation in providing information. 3. A shift in security strategy, including addressing potential insider threats. Number 4. Taking the fight to the attackers, including those operating across the borders. By addressing both the immediate security threats and the underlying causes of violence, Nigeria can move towards a more peaceful and secure future. So now, after all this has been said, may all the souls lost in the Benue massacre rest in peace. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more content like this. This is Legal Essentials, Kim Nudo, signing off.